Hey guys, my name's Super Tribo, and thank you very much for joining me for hopefully the start of something awesome. If you know me in real life, the one thing you should know is that I love the superhero Batman. I love all sorts of things about Batman. I like his weapons, his villains, and his costume. There's nothing that is bad about Batman. So basically where I'm going with all this is that... Basically, what I'm trying to get to is that I'm trying to make a wooden Batarang. Let's get some designs. Okay, so I got the designs now. They're looking pretty good. I've got the one that I originally printed. I got this really cool one which basically tells us where to drill with the circular drill bit. And as you can see, there's all kind of targets on the Batarang. And that's because we're going to use these as the point where to drill. Now this is really useful, and I'll show you which drill bits and where to put them right now. So right now we need to mark where specifically we need to cut and with what saw bit. So now I've got the flat bit, I don't know what it's called, the hole saw, and the something beginning with an F. I can't really remember. My favourite's the hole saw, to be honest. What I do is use measurements on all these circles to put these on, so then we can cut around. So now we need to find the right piece. Let's start with these two pieces on top right here. I'm going to go for some hole saw pieces, put them right here. That's too small. Try another one. That's perfect. Okay, now this is the 44mm, so then we'll have to mark right here. Okay, now let's try and figure out the bigger parts down at the bottom. So now what we need to do, I'm going to go for the hole saw because because these are one of the biggest parts that I could find. So we'll go right here. The one right in the middle, that seems about the same as the 64mm. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 of these circles are the same. These are the 5 big ones at the bottom. So I guess we should just call them 64mm right there. Just mark right here, 64mm. And I'll point to these. Now we go with the smaller parts right here. The top one and the 2 small ones down at the bottom. So as you can zoom in right here, you can see that I have marked right here where they are. 64, 44, 44. And now we shall go with whatever the middle one and the 2 ones in the bottom. They look relatively the same size, so let's hope that they are. I'll go with the smallest part that I have in the big set of the hole saw. And that looks surprisingly right. This part's smaller, so I won't use that. So I guess I'll just go with the... What is this? 11/4. I guess I don't have a millimeter sign on this, which is quite weird. I guess I'll just go for what it says right here. It says right there, I don't know if you can see it, but 1/4, which I don't know what that means, but I guess I'll just write it in anyway. So 1/4, and I'll see if it's the same for these ones. Yep, that's the thing. So we got all the measurements for the Batarang. Now let's start cutting them out. So now I need to draw the pilot holes for so it guides where the hole saw needs to go. So now I just got to draw all these. I've already done one, and we draw the hole saw so we don't wreck the paper and we can keep the measurements. Okay, so you just aim it up with the middle right here. Just drill down. And you have to make sure it goes all the way. and then you just do this with all over the paper. Okay, so I've drilled all the pilot holes in here with the drill, and now all I need to do is take the template off and then look at all the holes behind it. Okay, so a thing to remember is that you can always start with the smallest circles. You can't start with the big ones, because if you see, the middle of the small one right here is inside the big one. So if we drilled all of that out, we wouldn't know where to start with this drill. And I guess we just do the smallest, then we go up in size. So as you can see, I've done the pilot holes. Don't know if you can see that, but this is how it's supposed to look. And I've got the 1/4 as it says right there, and yeah, all we have to do now is drill these holes, which is the top one and the 2 at the bottom. Now we're going up a size to the 44mm. As you can see, it's the 2 top ones there, so here we go. Okay, so now we're going on to the big one, and a thing to remember is that you only drill halfway through and you don't go all the way through, because it can actually break the board, so you don't want to do that. So we're going on to the, I think it's the 64mm now. So let's go. You need to line it up. And go. Okay, so now I've finished doing all the holes, and now it may not look like a Batarang, but once I get the coping saw and cut all the edges right here, it will look really, really good. And also, a thing to remember is that you should always cut halfway through and then halfway through on the other side. We did with all these, but we didn't do it for this circle right here. And as you can see, there's a little piece flinging off right there, which is really bad for the wood. So, and that's because we didn't do half for the circle right here and just went all the way through. So that's always a thing to be aware of when you're cutting the wood. Okay, we've cut it out. This is what it looks like. Now I guess we're going to just do the shaping with the sander and do all the edges. We finished the Batarang, and I really think you should have a look. Okay, we've got the finished Batarang, now let's use it how it's supposed to. Now that was awesome. Do that again. Oh. This is working surprisingly well. One more go. That's a lot of damage. We've seen how good it is as a throwing weapon. Let's see what happens if we hold it like this. Ready? Okay, so as you can see, this thing is really powerful. It was a lot of fun to make this, but a thing that is to remember is that you always have to have an adult with you whenever following my instructions to make this. You have to use very dangerous tools. And I advise that you have someone as a guardian there to always be protecting you if something goes wrong. Anyways, this was really fun to make, but as you can see, it's already began to kind of come blunt, so I guess you'll have to make more after the one use. What if I made more? Anyway, if you like this video, please do consider subscribing to let me know that you want more content like this and more tutorials on how to make these amazing weapons. And also, please do comment down below what you think I should make next, because doing this was really lots of fun. And always, have a nice day. I should make more of these.